And I think each and every one of us, another thing that our citizens bring to us and is unique to us when we talk about being unique, it is under our gun rights. Our gun rights and how important that is. I mean, especially Pennsylvania, for the most part, a lot of rural areas and a lot of folks with our climate today really are concerned about their gun rights. And we have the unique role of issuing our license to carry, at least under our current legislation. That's assigned to the sheriff's office to do, and that's a great power.
It's one of the best public service things that I've done. You get with your district attorney, you go out and you talk to people, because they see the videos of the hurricane victims and the fire victims and all of these major problems that ruin people's lives. And in the end, what do people want to feel?
Safe.
Yeah. So we go out and we meet them at ground zero, and we talk to them and we say, this is happening here. What are your questions? This is what we do for you. This is what we can facilitate. Maybe that's in our role, maybe it's not. Maybe we can look into that and have a discussions. I think that's important.
In Beaver County, several times a year, myself and the DA put on a Second Amendment / concealed carry program. Lasts about 2 hours. We usually get 80 to 100 people in there. It's a really great program. And I get nothing but 100% positive feedback.
Good, conscientious citizens.
Sure.
It is. Yeah, exactly. The gun laws are so convoluted, people don't know. You know,
but we're great at dealing in the gray, right?
That's right.
Sure.
Because
great at
it's
dealing in the gray.
all of these different lines we could go to. That is the gun laws that are in Pennsylvania.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a good program. I paired up with Sheriff Walters up in Bradford County and our state representative, Clint Outlet, and we held some concealed carry programs too. And it's great to educate the public, because what's our goal, and we talked about it, is safety, but we don't want our citizens to make a mistake. And then get, now they're hung up on some criminal law here that we don't, if we can avoid that, we can. And how do we do it? We educate the public.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and people value the opportunities to call us, where they may call their other law enforcement in their area, and they'll say, well, I don't know, I kind of think, call the sheriff.
A dispatch center.
Call the sheriff. It's always call the sheriff. And people do that, and they value that opinion. They value that. They have
what
that
a blessing
trust.
and a curse, though, right?
Well,
it is.
Correct. But that falls on the responsibility of our shoulders to make sure that we keep ourselves up to date with things, and try to make sure that as we talked earlier about progressing forward, that we provide opportunities for them for moving forward, progressing into whatever the next step is, to be able to still allow them to get their license to carry, to be educated. I know many of our offices started working with the online application process. That was a great move for the Commonwealth to have that for our citizens that love it. For those who want to do it, you don't have to do it, but for those that want to, that's a great tool for them to use as well. Again, many of our offices have that. Again, the going out and the speaking and utilizing those opportunities. The community wants to hear from their sheriff and what they can do. And we recently just did with our DA, we did a little bit on license to carry, situational awareness, and then we also worked with the DA, who has a segment on human trafficking, which is huge. That people don't realize, even in the smaller counties, even in our county, not a big county, not a small county, but certainly everybody thinks it's a hometown county, and it's here. We just prosecuted a case recently on that last night. Stayed out working on that case, so it's here, and people want to hear that from us. And they value that. And I think that's, again, unique to us, that people want to keep coming back and asking more and more questions, because they value the trust that they put in us by electing us.
Yeah, because where do you get trusted information nowadays?
It's difficult.
Right? I think that's the pillar of one of the things that we provide.
So one of the things that we have as a responsibility, and I know we all take it very serious, are talking with citizens about their gun rights. Our office handles all the license to carry issues or concealed carry permits, if depending on what slang you want to use to call it that. But people come to us and want to know what they can do, what they can't do. And I will say, for my office, I always try to strongly encourage people to conceal carry. Unless there's something that legally or medically, when I say medically, mentally, would prevent you from being able to obtain your license to carry, I always strongly encourage doing that. While Pennsylvania is an open carry state, and is a shall issue state. Other than those two categories, I get concerned when I see citizens open carrying, not for me, but it causes alarm to some folks, and quite honestly, for some of the people that are the anti-gunners, gives them more ammunition to come back at people. The other part is, by concealed carrying, I know I have the gun. If I'm in somewhere and Dusty is not Dusty today, and he's acting out, well, he doesn't know if I have a gun or not. I want him to know I have a gun if I need to when it's time, not him to automatically know.
I tell everybody the same exact thing.
Yeah, and I think across the state, I think if you look across the Commonwealth, I think most of the sheriffs are in the same agreement with that we strongly encourage our citizens. I mean, it's your constitutional right. To be able to have your weapons, and we want to support that, and that's our job to make sure that they know that. And so I know we put on speaking events all the time, and Dusty, you said you have a brochure that you hand out.
Brochure, yeah, with what states you can, but you always want to check.
They
some
do.
have a mag rule, what ammunition you can carry. Some
Yes.
states even changed to what ammunition you can carry. And
yeah, so we always strongly encourage folks, if you're going to travel, look ahead. Part of your planning, when you're going to take a trip, you think about what you're packing and how you're loading your car. Well, if you're going to carry, make that part of your planning and go through. We recommend, for our office, we recommend the Attorney General's website, for Pennsylvania Attorney General's website for reciprocity, just so you know when you're traveling through, say you're going here to Florida, where can you travel through that you can carry it? Where do you have to have it separate at? And if it is separate, what requirements are they telling you? Is there a mag restriction? If you're going through New York, do you need to have that down? Even us as law enforcement off duty, knowing that. So that we don't get ourselves in an issue, because we don't want any of our citizens to get themselves into any type of trouble or problems, even as innocently as it may be, just because they didn't understand it or didn't pre-plan ahead. Right. And I think that's one of the roles that we get a lot no-calls on in our office.
And Somerset County borders the state of Maryland.
Yes.
So I have a lot of it, because Maryland's pretty much a no-go.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have several states that surround Pennsylvania that have a lot of restrictions that go against the structure of Pennsylvania, and so trying to get people to understand that you're crossing that boundary into another, know that ahead of time.
Yeah, just to add on, I know my county, I was able to get, in Bradford County, Sheriff Walters was able to get an agreement, because New York's pretty strict.
Yeah.
So now our residents, if they can show cause, they can go up into Chemung County, New York, and they can apply for a license there, and in some cases they get that license. So now they can legally carry. Some of my residents now can legally carry in New York.
Good.
Part of what we do, we also hand out pamphlets that explain where the reciprocity agreements is. But we also issue, or we have on our pamphlet, areas that they can go to train, the different facilities that have ranges. Because not only with that right to carry, you also have to be prepared and trained. So we want to make sure that the people are aware that it's just not, it's a big responsibility. It's a great responsibility, but they need to be trained mentally as well as physically, being able to use their weapon.
Yeah, and you say that the responsibility, and that's huge. There's a lot that comes out of carrying a firearm out as a defensive mechanism out off of your property. Obviously, while you're on your property, you don't need it, but when you leave your property, know what your rights are and what your obligations are. And Pennsylvania, being a Commonwealth that does not require you to take any type of formal training or show any proficiency for an issue, because we are a shall issue, that also doesn't mean, though, that we can't encourage that, and we don't demand it. But I know we have several, what I would feel is vetted organizations or groups or instructors, because this isn't, I tell people all the time, don't go out and just say, well, my cousin, brother, whatever, is law enforcement or is military, or a YouTuber that watched some videos and now hangs a shingle up and says, I'm a gun instructor. No, get somebody that's actually qualified, trained, certified, and has been vetted to show that they know what they're doing, and they're going to teach you properly.
Right.
And so that you know when you're going out what your obligations are, which are limited. You don't have a lot of obligations.
Right.
Where the difference of us, we have obligations if we're out and something happens. But I always tell people, if you have it and you are interested in exercising that right, to go out and do it,
Right.
knowing that that's just an extra tool to have with you. Does not mean you have to use it, but if you're going to have to use it, make sure that you're proficient with it. Make sure you know what your obligations are and what you legally can and can't do.
That first time you need it isn't going to be the first time you use it.
Right.
Yeah.
And an important piece to that too, and we like to educate the public too on the castle doctrine
Yes.
and stand your ground. There are two major things that we like to put into our presentations, and and working with the district attorney on that is huge. We like to get the district attorney involved so
Yes.
they can speak legally on those two pieces, because it is important that just because you have a gun doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want.
Yes.
Right? You've got to follow the law. You really need to be careful and be a responsible gun owner.
The question comes up, what people will say, I need a license to carry. Do I need that to open carry? And you don't. So ideally, when you have a valid license to carry, that gives you the opportunity to conceal carry that. That means that you can cover it, whether it be with a clothing garment, if you're in your car concealing it. Now, currently, there is some case law under question about whether or not in the car itself is considered concealing or not. I know for our DA, and this will be county to county specific, that your DA will determine whether or not they're going to prosecute a case if you have it. And each circumstance is going to be a little different. Based on whatever else came out of the stop, but if it's in your car. So the license to carry, letting people know that allows them to conceal carry that firearm off of their property. So again, you don't need a license to carry if you're carrying it on your property. You don't need a license to carry if you're open carrying it. But if you're out in the public off your property, then you can conceal carry that firearm. And loaded, and including in businesses. Now you'll see businesses that may have a sign on the door that says no firearms. Now you have a decision to make. What I tell people in our classes when we talk to them, that doesn't mean you can't go in there with a gun, that you would be arrested for anything. What it does mean is if you're in there and that business says, hey, you have a firearm on, did you see our sign? We don't want you here with a firearm. And they ask you to leave. Now you must leave. If you don't leave, now you can be arrested for the trespass. The violation of law would be the trespass, not the fact that you entered the building with the gun. And again, the biggest thing, if you're concealed carrying, keep that to yourself. That's the idea of concealing it, is so that it's only you that needs to know it. But that license to carry gives you the legal right to conceal carry that. If you start out open carrying, and you lean down and pick something up and you're wearing a bulky jacket, a flannel, whatever, sweatshirt, and it now covers the gun, that gets you into a concealed carry issue. If you don't have a license to carry or to be able to conceal carry, that could get you into a criminal action. So just some things that, as somebody that's a gun owner and somebody that's going to carry or want to exercise their right to carry a firearm, know what you can and can't do under what the legislation has established. And that way it protects you with it. Know what businesses or what areas you can and can't go into, even with a license to carry.